all across the country and right here in our Triad homes, protests have hit the spotlight. Protests have been a part of our lives no matter who or where you are. Today on Triad Perspectives, you'll hear from some people who have been up close and personal with these issues. Hello and welcome to Triad Perspectives. I'm your host, Sandra Hughes, done right here in North Carolina A&T's TV studio. Now you've heard all the news about protests and maybe a part of one yourself. Well, today we have some student leaders who will give us a closer look. So help me introduce to you and welcome. First of all, can I buy them?
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Apollo Black.
Nice to meet you.
Y'all know I used to do that when I was young like you.
She still do it.
And Sam King. All right, there we go. Every night when I'd leave work, when I was at another job, I'd say, "Keep hope alive, my brothers and sisters."
yeah.
And
All
power to the
right.
people.
So we're
All
going
power to the
back
people.
there?
You know, life
Revolution.
happens in cycles, you know.
It's
It
a
comes
repeat
back
itself.
around, yeah.
Okay, all right. We're about to find out about that.
He's gonna learn from our past though, so we can do it better.
You should. You really
Exactly.
should, so that you don't do the same thing that some of my colleagues did. So tell me how you created this organization that you work with, can I?
Okay, so the name of the organization is called Conscious Connection, and it started off with this event called Wisdom Wednesday. Last year, around January, we decided that we didn't really like the culture on campus. Everybody was all into the party life, the turn-up life, and we realized you are who you hang with. So we were like, let's have more conscious conversations. Let's have conversations or discussions that provoke certain thoughts and ideas. So we decided to start it in my room with these fellas right here.
Yeah.
We started on February, and it was beautiful. It was about 10 of us. And
Yeah,
it was,
real
it
small.
was strong, real small, but very powerful. Then I moved away from campus, and this year I'm like, yo, we still got to keep Wisdom Wednesday alive. How are we going to do it? Clock Tower. We went to the Clock Tower. The first time it was 50 people, second time 70, and now we don't get anything under 100.
Okay, tell me more about the clock tower. Why the clock tower?
Because I feel like with the whole perspective of time, it's just so relevant. You ever heard about 1111? It's like a message that you get when you see this number 1111, and with time, it has so many different perspectives, and you can't change it, and we want to understand it. And with Wisdom Wednesday, we want to get deep involved in people's spirits, higher self, lower selves, understand where you are mentally, spiritually, and physically, and combine that all into one.
Okay, so we're calling it Conscious Connection. Where'd you get that name?
Really, we just, like you said, we just always wanted to have conscious conversation.
Meaning, I mean, what's a conscious conversation?
Conscious conversation is stuff that's not on the surface. You know what I mean? We can talk about, how's your day been going? The weather's cool, you know what I mean? But like, really, let's talk about the systems in place. Let's talk about love. Let's talk about, you know what I mean? All the stuff that makes the world go around. So really, we just wanted to have a whole group dedicated to that. Introspection, getting to know yourself. And that's really, it's all about education. Getting to know yourself.
Are people surprised when you talk to them about this? Are they saying, what are you talking about?
Well, the whole point of creating this was to change the culture on campus. We wanted to start a trend. We want to make conscious cool. And now people come that aren't even conscious, and that's the best part, because now we're helping them grow, and we're inspiring them.
So if I came to one of your meetings, what's the first thing I hear? What kind of tone do I hear?
You hear a welcoming. We welcome you. First thing you do, ask your name. How do you like to be referred to? And we want you to understand that no matter what race you are, no matter what you believe in, no matter your personal faith, you're welcome.
Is it working?
Oh, definitely. We hear people all the time coming up to us with testimonies.
So many.
Every single day, somebody's like, Wisdom Wednesday has blessed me. And every time I come to that clock tower, I feel recharged, I feel rejuvenated.
I got to get over to the
energized.
clock
Yeah,
tower.
it's for everybody.
It
It's
is.
not just for one type of person. Everybody can learn. Everybody has the ability to gain knowledge. And knowledge is never ending.
No, that's exactly right. So do you invite people to come, or how do they know that you're there?
Okay, so we have a social media page, Conscious Connection.
Conscious underscore NCAT. Conscious
Thank
underscore
you.
NCAT.
And that's for Instagram and Twitter. But really it's by the word of mouth. You know, I'm a PR major, so I'm really connected with the students on campus.
Tell me about your experience in Charlotte.
Okay, so I went to Charlotte because I'm originally from Charlotte. And it was a really hard time for me because I've never seen my city like that before. You know, I'm always down Epic Center. I'm always, you know, walking down downtown streets. But this time it was completely different. It didn't look like my normal city. And you might see it on the TV, you might see it on movies, but to actually see someone getting killed in front of you changes your entire perception on life and how valuable your own life is. So my personal perception is there was chaos, there was war. You know, people were tired of the system that was never made for us. So instead of me being a part of that war and that chaos, I wanted to create peace within myself, first off. And I decided to meditate. I decided to sit down and pray. Pray for the man who just died and his family. Pray for all the protesters out there.
So how did you get arrested being peaceful?
So I know that as soon as I started praying for the officers, I got hit by a baton.
Ooh, okay.
The video is on MSNBC. You can see me sitting down and getting restrained.
So, but everything's okay now?
Oh, everything's great now.
Okay. I believe you.
I believe.
Now tell me about Sit Down First.
Okay, so it's called Sit Down, Fist Up, and that's a movement that we're also trying to create, not just on A&T, but all over America. And that's basically because the national anthem was written by a slave owner. You know, the third line was taken out because it talks about how they're going to keep slaves or black people oppressed. And now we stand up and we pledge allegiance to this oppression. And I say, sit down, fist up.
But then I'm remembering that from when I was your age.
That's
and
right.
so is that where it came from?
Fist down, sit up.
Yeah, the fist up
Oh,
thing.
fist up, yeah. Black power, definitely.
Yeah.
It seemed like people forgot about it, you know, during the
Kaepernick, talk about
70s.
Kaepernick.
They what?
Colin Kaepernick. He really did the resurgence of this because obviously it's been happening, you know, in the past, but he really brought this back to life.
So let me say this about your group, Conscious Connections. You are about keeping the peace. Is that right? Am I saying it right?
Indeed.
So you're not about, let's go see, we can break some windows. Or,
No, because so much of that is going on. People
Already
need an
going on.
outlet away from all of that.
Okay, so what you want to do is get those people calmed down.
Exactly. Help them understand where this energy is coming from and learn how to direct it. Because we're all getting a fire energy right now, what's going on in this world.
That's true.
A lot of us are not disciplined enough to know how to work it and understand it and maneuver it. For those of us that have been blessed to see things differently, to understand things differently, we came together. Connecting the people together. You said why the clock tower. The clock tower is the iconic place. We're making it more iconic with this movement, with this standing.
Okay.
Well, I think what you're saying is wonderful, and I wish you all the luck in the world in getting it done. Like I said, I remember when I was your age. I really do remember that. And I may be old now, but I remember. And we were all about trying to calm things down. So good luck with your group.
Thank you so much.
You guys for coming
so
today.
much.
This has been delightful, and let us hear what you're doing.
Yes.
If you have some things that you want to come back and
You're
talk
welcome.
about.
We'll always keep you updated.
After this short break, we'll continue our discussion on protests, the causes, results, and where we go from here. Be back.
I'm Gabrielle Cooke, and this is the A&T Historical Minute. Harrison Auditorium is the largest theater on A&T's campus and sets the stage for a variety of productions.
Built in 1939, Harrison Auditorium is named after former drama department chair Richard Barry Harrison. After spending 8 years at A&T, Harrison was called to Broadway to star in the role of DeLaude in the production of Green Pastures. In 2005, Harrison went through a $4 million renovation, which added 5 bathrooms, expanded the stage, and improved the seating capacity to 963. Harrison Auditorium is home to the nationally ranked A&T Theater Company, the Richard B. Harrison Players. Its stage is used throughout the year for events such as Aggies and Poets and many other student and local productions.
Welcome back to Triad Perspectives. Our next guests are on the front line if and when something happens here in the Triad area. So please help me welcome a couple of guests from the Greensboro Police Department. Captain Sean Gladio, good to see you.
Nice
We've
to see
talked
you.
before, we have. And then Officer Corey Johnson. Nice to have you with us too.
Thank you, ma'am.
I know you watch the news, and you probably get a lot of training about the things that are going on. Where do you stand, Captain Gladio, in making sure we keep the peace, so to speak?
Well, I'm glad you said where do I stand, but I'm going to attempt to speak for the entire organization, and that's sometimes tough to do. But I think that if I was the leader of this organization or any law enforcement organization, what I would say is that we have to continue to have dialogue. Because and when I go into situations, I try to listen first to understand what the root cause and what the root issue is before I begin to try to have any influence or espouse any opinions that I may have. And I think that your previous guests are laying a tremendous foundation. I have to.
It's almost unbelievable.
I
Isn't it?
have to applaud those gentlemen. What they are attempting and striving and focusing on in ensuring that we have peace in our community, because we are a community that is really the base of activism.
Oh, we've been there.
And
You all aren't old enough to know about that.
but that goes to our strength as a community. And I think that we all need to listen. We have to keep emotion out of this, and we have to really sit down and discuss solutions. If we know there are problems, and I think we all can agree that there are some issues. There are.
And
We have to
so
work on the
when you are out on the street or whatever your position might be, how do you attempt to keep things on a peaceful level?
You have to continue to build those bridges between the community and ourselves. You have to get out of the car and make contacts with people, just to kind of get a feel of what's going on. It's funny, but you could kind of feel the tension in the air at some points. If something's growing, you can kind of feel that if you're out of the car and actually making contact with people.
And so you're also connected a little bit with A&T, or help us with some things.
Yes, one of my primary duties and responsibilities is to be an effective partner with North Carolina A&T, and especially their law enforcement community. I'm one of 4 captains that has a patrol district where a lot of off-campus students also reside. And so we try to have, matter of fact, we're having one tomorrow, one of our interagency partnership meetings, where the Greensboro Police Department and all colleges and universities in our city, we come together and we discuss issues that have occurred and issues or events that may occur. For example, the greatest homecoming on earth is going to be here in less than a month. But that takes logistically a lot of resources in order to make sure that it occurs and finishes successfully.
Yes, and smoothly.
Absolutely.
Would you be involved in that greatest homecoming?
Yes, ma'am,
program?
I would.
How many? I would imagine a lot of officers.
I believe the entire department is pretty much going to be assisting with that in some way or some fashion. That day I'll be on actual patrol, so I will still be servicing the citizens of this city.
What can the citizens do to help you with what you do?
They have to be our eyes and ears. They have to, if they see us, come out and talk with us. Just make contact with us and tell us what's going on in the community. They're the ones that ultimately live there, and we're there to assist them in any way we can.
And we do that show called Building Bridges, which is saying to people, don't be afraid of a guy with a badge and a black outfit on, right?
Right. And building bridges is a simple concept to where 2 people can come together, and if they basically just try to communicate and step or walk in the shoes of the other person, we can better understand each other. Law enforcement officers like Corey and myself, we love our job. We love it 100%. Wouldn't do anything else, even with everything going on, Sandra. I have loved every day I've come to work. I wear this badge and this uniform with honor and distinction.
That's great.
And I will say that we have a tremendous community and we have a tremendous backing here. And I think if we continue to communicate, if we continue to problem solve,
Build those bridges.
and build those bridges, we can have a police department that is a national model. And we can have a community that is proud. Everybody in the community, not just 90% of our, we want everybody to be proud, including the students who call our city home of their police department, the Greensboro Police Department.
Now, speaking of being proud, you just got some kind of award, didn't you?
A year or so ago, yes, ma'am. Rookie of the Year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Does that mean that you really know what you're doing?
I wouldn't say so. It was just one of those times.
It wasn't, was it?
No, you know, Corey is a fine young man. He's a great person, and he's a terrific officer. He embodies everything that this organization has stood for, is standing for, and will stand for long after I'm gone. So this is our future right here, and Officer Johnson does a tremendous job day in and day out for the citizens and the visitors to our fine city.
And I hope you feel as strongly as he does about that.
I do. I don't like to speak about myself in that manner, but I do appreciate him and his leadership.
But we'd like to congratulate you on the things that you've done and hopefully will continue to do.
Thank you.
And building bridges, I'll have to let our viewers know that I work with that program, and I'm so proud of the things we do, and so that you and I get to talk, you know, about the community and the police department and citizens, and I just think it can't be beat.
No, you know, any way that we can engage our community and any medium that is available out there, and you do a wonderful job hosting that show, and it's just one more avenue with which we want to show the people in our communities that we are in our communities. We are a part of our community. We want to grow and we want to change with our communities, because under this uniform and under this vest, we all bleed red. And
Yeah.
we're just human beings, and we want a peaceful society, we want a peaceful city, and we want to go home every night, kiss our wives and our children.
Yeah, and I want everyone to know that whether you're on A&T's campus or living in a neighborhood, you all live in neighborhoods, you all went to college, so we got to be together, right? I mean, that's what the Building Bridges is all about.
Right.
And that's what Rookie of the Year is all about. Are you trying for it this year? Is that somebody else?
No, this is somebody else's turn.
Okay, all right, we'll see. Well, I want to thank you both very much for coming and talking to us, and keep your eyeballs on us, because you know, we have a lot of fun here at A&T.
Oh, absolutely.
Come on in and join us. That'll be fun.
We appreciate the invitation,
Good.
as always.
Thank you very much. Stay with us. We'll be back after a short break to hear more about some of the things happening on A&T's campus. Thank you.
This is the North Carolina A&T State University Historical Minute. I'm Marilyn Parker. The Dudley Memorial Building houses more stone applications than any other building on A&T's campus. A sweep of 15 stones guide visitors to the main entrance. Built in 1893, the original facility contained a library, an auditorium, and administrative offices. In 1930, a fire led to a reconstruction, and the facility was renamed after A&T's second president, James B. Dudley. Today, the building is home to the Maddie Reed African Heritage and H.C. Taylor Art Galleries, music classrooms, and laboratories. The Dudley Memorial Building is located on the east side of campus, directly behind the statue of the A&T 4 and right across from Dudley Road.
What can we all do to calm down the present triggers that cause the movements? Our next guest may have the answers to that question. So let me introduce three students who go to school right here at North Carolina A&T. My first guest is Nicholas Knight. Nice to see you, Nicholas. We have Funmi Oladage, Malcolm Howard. Nice to have you all here with us today. When I say students are trying to help calm triggers, what does that mean? You're obviously in an organization that's working with that.
To help calm down the triggers, it means that we're trying to spread peace instead of anger, because clearly when actions take place, there is a reaction, and what we see is a reaction. And so we're working to, as far as my organization, Conscious Connection, we're working to ease the reaction that's been taking place as far as the riots and everything is concerned. We always talk about, you know, the rioters and why they're wrong and all this stuff, but they're not realizing that those are only symptoms to a disease, and you can't cure a disease by attacking the symptoms of the disease. And right now we're at a cultural dis-ease as far as racial prejudice and everything. So
Now you write down all those words so I can learn them. Cultural
disease,
yeah.
cultural dis-ease. It's a dis-ease.
Dis-ease,
And we're
okay.
trying to ease the culture with the movement that we have with the peace.
So do you do something on a daily basis, or are there just certain times that you do things?
Well, I have a YouTube channel, so I've just been trying to talk to people and get their insight and their take on how they feel. So when I went to Charlotte, I did some interviews down there and I talked to people, and I just wanted to get a one-on-one on how they feel, because the media, the way they portray it is different than what's really going on out there.
Okay, so we keep saying go to Charlotte. Explain why we went to Charlotte.
I think one of the important things is that we actually go there where the violence is happening. You know, just seriously spread peace, but also create an awareness of, violence is not the answer. And while, there needs to be a revolution, we need to go about it peacefully. And tearing down the community is just definitely not going to, solve the issue. In fact, it might even continue to make the issue or grow the issue, because, when you're tearing down your stores and you're breaking glass and things of that nature, at the end of the day, we're the ones that are left to live in those communities that we're tearing down. So I think what's more important is just to spread that awareness of that peace is the answer, but to also create an awareness of where, one of the main vehicles by which we can fight this is to vote.
So Nicholas, you can't just show up at a protest when things are really heated up and get people to calm down, right?
Right.
So talk about how you get it done before it ever starts.
So like I was saying about addressing symptoms, I'm really not a fan of respectability politics. I'm not a fan of telling people to calm down. That's not what we do. My organization, like when I say ease the tension, provide them an alternative, provide them resources. Because when you're talking about people who are tearing down stores, they're tearing down stores that really aren't in their community. Actually, like there's no CVS in the hood. There's no Walmart in the hood. Actually, there's no Walmart on East Market Street, if we're to be honest. There's a Earth Fair and Whole Foods all over there in West Market Street. It's a food desert over here. So they're going all the way over here. They're not tearing down their own stuff. So I'm saying I think that providing the community with resources, providing them with outlets, and providing them with a space where they can recharge and rejuvenate. Was the word that he used earlier. I feel like that's our main focus. But yeah, talking about them tearing down property where our bodies are getting torn down in the street by officers unlawfully, I think that's irrelevant to the conversation, to me, honestly.
Now let me ask you. You said you went to do some interviews.
Yes.
What made you decide to do that?
I'm from Charlotte. So being that that's my hometown, that's my city, I just wanted to get a feel on how everybody, like how they feel about the situation that's going on. What do they want? How do they want their voices to be heard? And it was a really good experience. I got to talk to different college students who were there. I saw some A&T students there as well, some UNC students. It was just a lot of unity and togetherness. It was just a really
So
good
give me an example of what maybe one or two people said to you.
Well, the college students that I spoke to two of them, and they were telling me that they were just tired of all the police brutality that's been going on. And a lot of them, they said they have friends who are out there and they want to support their friends. I talked to some adults, and they just said they're tired of always turning on the news and seeing another dead body, another person killed, and it's just the same story over and over again.
So what are you hearing from students on campus on this reign?
Well, from one, I hear that students, we're just tired. We're tired of every day we wake up, we have to fear. It's becoming a state where you're living in fear, you know what I'm saying? And they're tired of it being one of us all the time, you know what I'm saying? And students are also concerned about not only their safety, but they're also concerned about their futures. If even our relatives or anyone will make it to see, to really fulfill their potential. I think we're just generally tired. I think that's the word that best describes it.
How do you feel when a person approaches you that's all in black uniform, gun on the side, the whole thing?
I can honestly say that I instantly get terrified.
Are you serious?
Yes,
You're a big guy.
Yeah, I honestly got stopped by the police last year on my way home, and I was speeding. Obviously, that was a crime, however, but just the fear of him coming up and one not even looking like me. You know what I'm saying? Him being of a different race and all of that, especially in the midst of what was going on. I instantly got, I really saw myself started shaking because when he came to the window, because I didn't know even if any sudden hand movement that I made, I could have instantly lost my life. And I hate that it happens that way, but that's just been my experience with police for my
And,
whole life.
and that's what we're trying to get rid of. What would be your impression, or what would be your suggestion for trying to bring community and police together?
I think just more police awareness of like what's going on in their communities, talking to the people in their communities, and just having a one-on-one with the different people, the demographics. It's just all about knowing who's in your community.
So are you saying that that would be anybody? Let's say a brand new person moves in the house next door to you. They don't have on a uniform or anything, but you don't know anything about that person. How do you handle that person instead of a person in a dark uniform? Am I making any sense here? You know what I'm saying? How, if the person moving next door to you is a police officer, that's one thing. If the person next door to you is a teacher, that's another thing.
Right.
How do you personally handle one of those situations?
How do I personally?
And how do you handle a man who comes out in his uniform?
To be honest, me personally, in this day and time, I'm avoiding them.
Well, see, that's what we're talking about.
I mean, I'm avoiding them by all costs because before we're questioned, literally before we're questioned, anything that we say can or will be used against us.
But this becomes your next door neighbor.
Yeah,
say.
no, and this is our next door neighbor. Yeah, even as our next door neighbor, anything that we say or do can be used against us in court of law.
Okay, so what if the person next door is a teacher?
A teacher. Yes, they'd probably be over to my house for some cupcakes.
Well, I'm a teacher. I haven't been invited to your house for cupcakes.
Are you my neighbor as well?
Well, sure. We live right here in the same community, so there we go.
I'll make cupcakes for you.
Make cupcakes for me.
Dr. Hughes, I got you.
Thank you. Well, it's been delightful to talk to the three of you. Any last words you want to say before we close?
I do want to say that recently students have been organizing, and you know, we have Black University Summit, Conscious Connection, SIASA. We have organizations on campus, and we have been organizing, and we've been holding the powers that are beyond police officers accountable, the city council and the mayor. We've been marching down there demanding that things go about justice, you know. And so I will say that, you know, nothing's going to stop us. Administration isn't going to stop us. The GPD is not going to stop us. And the city council isn't going to stop us. We've been organizing, and we're going to make sure our demands are met. That way, relations are eased.
But in a peaceful way.
In a peaceful way, yeah. In a peaceful way. However, making demands that need to be made, you know.
Yes.
So that, you know, that community, that relationship is established and is better through that.
Okay. I tell you, I would just love to wake up one day and that's the case. So nice to have you three with us today to talk about what your plans are, and they sound fabulous, so keep at it, okay? Well, I hope you enjoyed the show and the guests we presented today. That's all of today's Triad Perspectives. You can watch us each Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on Time Warner Cable Channel 69. You can connect with us on social media. You can also go to Aggie TV Studio to find out more about what we do. You can see us on Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat at Triad Perspectives. Triad Perspectives is spelled, let me say, it's PERSPECTVS. You can watch all of this and all of our previous shows on YouTube by searching NC Aggie TV. I want to thank all of our guests today, and I want to thank you in particular for watching. I'm Sandra Hughes. Have a great day.